I don't know. I don't know, Penguins fans. I don't know what to say. Penguins and Devils. Last game of the regular season between these two squads. It's a Metro Showdown on Penguins Postgame. And it starts right now. My name is Scott McGregor. The topic is the Pens and the Devils. How did the Penguins turn this game around? Let's talk about it. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney, Crosby, and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, shooting scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins Postgame. A PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Good evening, Penguins fans. Good evening, Devils fans. What a hockey game that was. What a hockey game that was. The Pens and the Devils. What a hockey game that was. Penguins beat the Devils 4-2. They tie the season series for 2024-2025 with the New Jersey Devils after quite a first period they would like to forget, but credit to Gino Machino making sure it quickly didn't end up becoming 3-0 Devils in, I guess, what we could call the own goal. Yeah, the own goal. The own goal in this one, I don't even know what to call it anymore. This is game 80 of the 82-game season for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We will be bringing you our coverage of the Blues game on episode 10 of season 4 of Sports for Beginners, so be sure you stick around for that. But this is, besides the Blues recap, which is one of our last recaps of the show, this is one of our final current Penguin post-game shows of this season. After this one and after the Blues recap, which was the one we were going to get to after the Ottawa game that we did earlier today, we will give you the final two shows for 2024-2025 in the regular season. They are the Boston Bruins and, of course, the game against the Washington Capitals. We will give you those games when we get an opportunity to do so. My name, of course, is Scott McGregor. I'm a Penguins fan. But as you can also tell by my attire tonight, I also am a Buffalo Bills fan. Shout out to my boy, Ernie Clement of the Toronto Blue Jays. I know he's also a Buffalo Sabres fan. But he loves Bills Mafia. And he loves the Buffalo Bills. A bit of a tender moment before the game got started tonight as the Devils and the Penguins at the Prudential Center tonight honored the memory of Ray Shero. I don't know much about Ray, and I don't know when he passed away, but I do know he did pass away this year. I don't know exactly when, but from all of us here at Sports for Beginners, including myself, I would like to wish his family well and send my heartfelt condolences and prayers to his family, colleagues, and friends, including coworkers. Once we are through with our opening moments where we go over our goaltending matchup for this game, and of course, our head coaches and officiating crew, we will take a break. And with that break, as we go into the break, we will take 2 minutes of silence to honor Mr. Ray Shero. So with that being said, let's keep this train going. This is number 41 in away games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it's their final away game of the season. They have 2 more home games, games 40 and 42 at home. I should say 40 and 41 at home. They will play those this weekend and this coming week on Thursday, excuse me. So without further ado, before we jump into the coaches, the game as we speak for the Devils was game 79 of the 82 game season. They have 4 games remaining after this one, pretty much. They're in game number 79. So they're down to their last 4, I should say last 3. This is one of their final 4 games, so they're down to their last 3 game nights, which we'll talk about over the course of the program. This was game number 39 at home for the New Jersey Devils. All right, head coaches for this one, Mike Sullivan for the Penguins, and Sheldon Keefe, the former Toronto Maple Leaf head coach. Look it up. Sheldon Keefe was a Toronto Maple Leaf head coach before, but has now been a member and head coach of the New Jersey Devils. Starting goaltending matchup, which we'll get to before we get to the officiating crew for this game. Leading us all the way into our first commercial break of the program. Tristan Jarry in net for the Pittsburgh Penguins against Jake Allen. And I actually messed that up when I was going to do the starter and the backup. I needed to make a quick update to that. It was actually 25 in at backup and 34 who got the start. So Jake Allen gets the start. Jacob Markstrom in at backup for the Devils in this one. There's a lot for us to get into, and before we get to the 2 minutes of silence, which we're going to do in a moment, I do want to make sure we get into our officiating crew, so that's one less thing we have to worry about within our opening segment. But once again, Jake Allen taking on Tristan Jarry. Those are numbers 34 against 35. And numbers 25 and 39, Alex Nedeljkovic versus Jacob Markstrom in at backup for this one tonight. Tonight's officiating crew, this will lead us right in to our 2 minutes of silence. Wearing the numbers 39 and 25, those were the referees. Brandon Ballandina and Pierre Lambert. Pierre Lambert with number 25. Brandon Ballandina. Brandon, if I pronounce the last name wrong, my sincerest apologies. We are awaiting the 3 stars of the game to be revealed as we speak with you. And they shall be revealed shortly. They shall be revealed shortly. for your 3 stars of this contest. But the Penguins beat the Devils, as I mentioned early on, 4-2 to tie the season series at 2 games apiece to end the 2024-2025 season. The linesmen and linesperson, rather, who wore the jerseys number 59 and 75. Those were worn by Steve Barton and Brendan Gurello. Brandon, same thing for the other Brandon. If I pronounce the last name wrong, sincerest apologies. We will touch on the scratches for this game, as a lot of notables, including players who are done for the season, even on the Penguin side. But we know that the Devils are in the playoffs, and they are the only matchup so far that I know of that have been confirmed in the playoffs, that who they will be playing. They will be going head-to-head with the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs for 2024-2025. But we'll talk about that more later in the show. A lot to get to, including the game breakdown. We will get to the game breakdown. And, of course, who was penalized as part of that breakdown? Who scored? How many power play goals were scored? Hopefully by that time, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the 3 stars brought up. If not, we will move into the game stats before we get to our 3 stars of the game. So still lots more to come on Penguins postgame. Penguins beat the Devils 4-2. Bryan Rust has a new career high in goals scored. Congratulations to Bryan Rust. And also, before we take the break, as we go into a 2 minutes of silence, I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to congratulate Tricky Ricky, Ricard Raquel, playing in game number 800 of his NHL career. Congratulations to you. Unfortunately for Ricard Raquel, not much to speak of for him on the score sheet, but darn, did it ever feel like the Penguins needed something to go right in that first period after a disastrous start. We'll break it all down for you in a little bit. But first, as mentioned earlier, we want to honor Ray Shero, who we found out had passed away. I don't have the details of how old he was when he passed away, or what day exactly when he passed away, but we honor Mr. Ray Shero right now. Ray Shero right now on this episode of Penguins Postgame, as we go to our first break of the program with a short 2 minutes of silence as we take a break. We'll take the break after the 2 minutes of silence, which begins now. Thank you very much, everyone. Penguins postgame, Penguins and the Devils, will continue right after this. And again, we honor Ray Shero, for everything that he did for the game of hockey. There is also going to be a link in the show notes opposite Sienna T Radio to the Tip of the Iceberg podcast honoring Mr. Ray Shero. Shero. If I pronounced that wrong, my sincerest apologies to Ray's family. Back with more in a moment.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
I wonder if I could make it. It's almost getting to 8 o'clock p.m., and I am still a few more steps away from home to get to my computer to listen to Sienna T Radio's Cosmopolitan Culture Club. The best of the best music from around the world. Can't wait. I think I made it. Sienna T Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. Oh, my bad. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't realize we were muted. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't realize we were muted. Okay. Anyways, welcome back into the program. I didn't realize we were muted. Oops. Anyways, we talked about the history lesson. You may not have gotten that because we were muted. I didn't see that. Oops. That's my bad, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, Penguins beat the Devils 4-2 in New Jersey tonight. They beat the Devils 7-3 in Pittsburgh on March 15th, 2025. On February 4th, 2025, they lost 3-2 in Pittsburgh to the Devils. And just before Christmas in 2024, the Penguins were shut out by the New Jersey Devils 3-0. So that will be the only shutout recorded in this season series. I believe we mentioned we want to get to the penalties. Let's get to those. I apologize for the inconvenience of me not knowing we were on mute. That's my bad. Sorry about that. You may not even hear that actually when the show hits the air. Hopefully you don't, but that's okay. Moving on. Jonathan Kovacevic. Jonathan, if I pronounced the name wrong, I apologize. We're going to go with Jonathan K in case I did pronounce that name wrong. A 2-minute minor for tripping at 14 minutes and 1 second. At 4 minutes and 2 seconds, Kevin Hayes will go. Kevin Hayes will go for that same penalty. I should say not same penalty. He will go for the hooking minor drawn by Andre Palop. After 20 minutes of play, both teams have had a shot on the power play. The Devils first, then the Penguins. Well, this is kind of interesting. The first penalty of the second period belongs to the New Jersey Devils, and it belongs to Brett Pesce. Ricard Raquel, who I mentioned earlier when we were actually muted. I should have... Oh, actually, no, I think I mentioned this before we went to the break, so maybe I might have mentioned this as well when we came back from the break. That's my bad, though. I didn't realize we were muted at the time. Anyways, playing in his 800th career NHL game is Ricard Raquel, Tricky Ricky. Congratulations to him on that. He draws a penalty 1 minute into the second period of play, and that's against Devils Brett Pesce, a 2-minute minor for hooking. Then back-to-back tripping calls against the Penguins, first to the former Boston Bruin, Matt Grzelcyk. 2 minutes for tripping at 6 minutes and 22 seconds. And at 15 minutes and 24 seconds, the former Toronto Maple Leaf, Connor Timmins, goes for tripping as well. 2 minutes for tripping. Brett Pesce, right at the buzzer. I'm telling you, right at the buzzer, at 20 minutes, right at the buzzer, Brett Pesce takes a costly penalty right at the buzzer, drawn by Penguins forward Bryan Rust at the 20-minute mark of the second period of play. Right at the buzzer, Brett Pesce is called for slashing. Right at the buzzer. Right at the buzzer. In the third period, the only penalty would go to Cody. I was going to say Christopher, but nope, it's Cody Glass. And who should be the one to draw the penalty but the Penguins captain, Sidney Crosby. 2-minute minor for high sticking to Cody Glass. 12 minutes at the 12-minute mark of the third period of play. All right, on to the scoring. And you're going to find out why I called that Brett Pesce penalty a costly one in a second. Let's flash you back to the first period as we open up our scoring summary. And, okay, you know how in the Ottawa game, we didn't get a goal until overtime? Like, right after regulation, we didn't get a goal? Well, tonight, that's not the case. Erik Haula wasting no time. Erik Haula. Yeah, hopefully I have that right. Erik, if I pronounce your last name wrong, or even your first name wrong, sincerest apologies. His 10th goal of the season. Oh, and get this. Before I go over the assists, get this. For the 15th straight time this season, the Penguins have given up the first goal on the first shot. That's right, this was the first shot on goal. And it's Erik Haula makes it 1-0 Devils, 1-0 Devils. His 10th goal of the season, Dawson Mercer. picking up his 16th assist of the season. Brett Pesce picking up his 13th assist of the season. And get this, as I said before, get this. The goal was at 15 seconds into the game. Talk about getting on the board early. After a successful Penguins penalty kill, Andre Palat picked up his 15th goal of the season. But this was believed to have been Cody Glass's goal. It was given to Andre Palat. So that's his 15th goal of the season. Cody Glass gets the assist, his 16th of the season. And Seamus Casey, Mr. Casey, if I pronounced your last name wrong, or your first name wrong rather, I hope that you accept my apologies. If I pronounced both of your names wrong, both of the names wrong, first and last name, sincerest apologies as well. Time of the goal, 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Devils quickly up 2-0. The Devils have come out guns a-blazing. Trouble could be brewing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But what's this? Oh, they put it in their own net. And the Pens are on the board. Oh, the Devils put the puck in their own net, right by Jake Allen. The puck goes right by Jake Allen by accident off of a Devils stick. And the goal gets credited to Evgeny Malkin. His 16th goal of the season. It's an own goal at the 16-minute and 10-second mark of the period. And the Penguins are within one. Now, they scored 4 unanswered. And that was just goal number 1. As they rallied past the Devils. So you're telling me it was 2-0, became 2-1, and then it turned into 2-2, 3-2, and then 4-2, which was our final score. Wow. I hope people got their money's worth about this game. I hope you got your money's worth. I really do. I really hope people got their money's worth for this game. I really do. I really hope fans got their money's worth in this game. I really do hope they got their money's worth. Because that's just interesting to me. How this game ended where it did. How this game ended where it did. It's very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. All right, moving on. After 20 minutes, it's 2-1 Devils. We'll have to fix that, shall we? Remember the penalty I talked about early in the second period? Drawn by Mr. 800 in his NHL career, Ricard Raquel? Well, turns out Brett Pesce had 2 costly penalties. That's right, 2. Because 5 seconds later, after the penalty was called on him, welcome back to the NHL, Valtteri Puustinen, his second goal of the season, and the first of 2 goals on the power play for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Time of the goal, 1 minute, 5 seconds. On the assist, Evgeny Malkin with the primary assist, his 34th assist of the season. Matt Grzelcyk picked up 2 assists in this game tonight. His first was the secondary assist on the Valtteri Puustinen goal, which was Valtteri Puustinen's second goal of the season. It was assist number 36 of the season for Matt Grzelcyk. And just like that, on the power play, and in the only goal scored in the second period of play, the Penguins have tied this one up. It's 2-2 after 40. So now what? We're looking for the icebreaker again. Well, hang on to your hats, because in the third period of play, so Brett Pesce survives the 20-minute penalty, which was a 2-minute minor for slashing at the end of the second period of play. He survives that time. But in the third period, Cody Glass takes a costly penalty. The second costly penalty drawn by the man who, guess what, scored the power play goal. The captain, Sidney Crosby, drew this penalty on former Penguin Cody Glass and then made him pay for it. Crosby's 32nd goal of the season. That's number 32 on the season for Crosby. And that is career goal, not to take the words out of Joe Brand's mouth, but that is career goal number 624 in Sidney Crosby's career. I will double check on that during the break, but I believe that is where he is at right now in his career in terms of goals. Maybe I mistake that. No, I have that right. Coming into today's game, Crosby had 623 goals in his career. He now has 624 with the goal on the power play in the third period, which took the lead, by the way. Bryan Rust on the assist. He got the primary assist. His 34th assist of the season. Matt Grzelcyk picking up assist number 37 on the season. His second assist of the hockey game. Penguins have their first lead of the night on another power play goal. Their second of the evening. Time of the goal, 13 minutes, 21 seconds in the third period. And then, empty net goal as Jake Allen is pulled. This time it's the Devils within one, trying to get the lead back. But a missed pass, or rather a bad turnover, leads to a wide open empty net. Vili Kovalin. Hopefully I said that right. I said that a couple of times to make sure I got it right. We'll see where our transcript is to make sure I got this right. Apologies in advance if I did not. His 4th assist of the season. Only assist in the game. And the captain himself, Sidney Crosby, scored a goal and Bryan Rust got the assist. Now he's got the primary assist. To Bryan Rust's new career high 29 goal season. It's his 29th goal of the season. Bryan Rust scores. And we'll get into what that means for Penguins fans in a moment. But the assist for Crosby is number 57 of the season. For Crosby. And the Penguins will win this game 4-2. Time of the goal for Bryan Rust, 18 minutes, 24 seconds. All right, time now for our game totals. We'll get to the 3 stars in the next portion of the program. So be sure to stick with us for that. We will get to our 3 stars of the game in a matter of moments. We will do that later on in the program, right after this next break. But we'll get the game totals out of the way before we get there. So, as we speak with you, our totals for this game are: the Penguins were outshot in this game 28-23. Both teams tied in the second period with 4 shots on goal. The Devils scored 13 shots on goal in the first period, outshooting the Penguins 13-9 after the first 20 minutes of play. Again, in the second period, it was tied at 4 shots on goal apiece. Penguins being outshot 17-13. Penguins get a bit closer in the third period, but the Devils outshoot them 11-10 and ultimately end up outshooting the Penguins by the score that we mentioned in the shots on goal totals, 28-23. Just about 46.2% of the face-offs were won by Pittsburgh. Just about 54% of the face-offs were won by the New Jersey Devils. They won 53.8%. Just about 54% of the face-offs were won by the Devils. Devils power play non-existent. The Penguins kill off all 3 penalties to go 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Devils power play, 0 for 3 on the evening.
How long? Till 11 o'clock p.m.
The Penguins go 2 for 4 on the power play, which means the Devils were able to kill off 2 penalties out of 4 opportunities that they were shorthanded on. So, like the Penguins, who went 2 for 4 on the power play, the Devils went 2 for 4 on the penalty kill. Meanwhile, the Penguins, perfect 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. The Devils spent 8 minutes in the penalty box, out-hit the Penguins 20-19. Penguins spending 6 minutes in the penalty box. They had the upper hand in the block shots category, 13-4. 9 giveaways each for the Devils and the Penguins. 4 takeaways for the Devils, 3 for the Penguins. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving in to our 3 stars of this contest. And those come your way next. Along with the play of the game, the Penguins beat the Devils 4-2. They tie the season series with the Devils, who are our 3 lucky stars in this contest. Who got lucky enough to get the play of the game? What other action is going on? Plus the shake of the game and the game puck of the game as well is on deck. All of it when we return to Penguins Postgame.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
All right, welcome back in to Penguins postgame. Penguins knock off the Devils 4-2. We've broken down the game, talked head coaches, talked goaltenders, talked officiating crew. We did not talk about the scratches, and honestly, I'm not really sure we're going to get into that, so that's okay. But it is now time for our 3 stars of the contest. And again, just to remind everyone, my name is Scott McGregor. I'm your host of Penguins Postgame. Penguins beat the Devils 4-2 to tie the season series 2-2. Your 3 stars, as I mentioned before our break, and of course before the break before that, they are brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network. If you would like to get in on the action, you can do so by doing the following. Sending an email to sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com, or if you're on Discord, popping on into the Penguins Postgame Show Interactions Discord server. A link will be in the description below. If it is not working, please alert me in any way possible. Besides calling, our 3 stars of the game. We do know the 3rd star and the 2nd star, but I will pick our 1st star. And our 3rd star went to Penguins centerman number 71, Evgeny Malkin. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. The 2nd star went to Penguins captain and centerman number 87, Sidney Crosby. 1 goal, 1 assist, and 2 points. And for our 1st star, picked by me, the host of this program, I'm going to give it to Devils goal scorer Andre Palat. 1 goal, 1 point, no assists. Andre Palat, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin, your 3 stars of the game. Are they the actual 3 stars of the game? Well, Crosby and Malkin are, that we know of so far. But who else is in the 3 stars of the game? I picked Andre Palat and kept Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. And with that, that brings us to the play of the game. Before we get there, we want to get into some of the action in the NHL around the day today. So we will do that before we get to the disclaimer of the play of the game. The ongoing action includes Connor McDavid and the Oilers in a 2-2 tie against the San Jose Sharks, headed for the 3rd period. They're in the 2nd intermission as we speak. And the Calgary Flames, with the only goal so far against the Minnesota Wild. That game in the 2nd period ongoing right now. Michael Backlund with his 13th goal of the season, and that is the difference so far in this one. Early final scores besides the Penguins beating the Devils 4-2. The Ottawa Senators knocked off the Montreal Canadiens 5-2 in regulation. And in overtime, the Tampa Bay Lightning fall to the Detroit Red Wings 4-3. The game winner of that game went to Marco Kasper, his 18th goal of the season. And 2nd goal of the game, it was the OT winner, 2nd goal of the game, 18th of the season. That won it for the Red Wings against the Lightning in Tampa Bay tonight. Our play of the game, you know what? For the play of the game for me, I gotta go to the game. I gotta go to the power play goal in the second period by Valtteri Puustinen. That really felt like the change the Penguins needed. And it also ended up being the goal that would eventually, in the third period, change the pace of the game. So the goal on the power play by Valtteri Puustinen, his second goal of the game. That's right, second goal of the contest, or sorry, second goal of the season, rather. Making that clear for you. Second goal of the season. Seventh goal of his NHL career. Congratulations, Valtteri Puustinen. That's your seventh goal in the NHL. Congratulations, my buddy, my friend. Your goal on the power play, good enough for my play of the game. Of course, the Penguins would score again on the power play. This one would go to the captain, Sidney Crosby. His 30-second assist, 30-second goal, of the season, which ultimately made it 3-2. And then Bryan Rust's empty net goal, which was a career high, a new career high for Bryan Rust, sent this game into the showers at 4-2 as he put it in the empty net. And again, if you remember the time of the goal, that was 18 minutes and 24 seconds. All right. When we come back on Penguins Postgame, we took this time to do the 3 stars of the game and the play of the game. But when we return, we will give you the game puck of the game. And it is time for the shake of the game. And among the game puck of the game being revealed, we will reveal to you the next 3 game nights for the Devils following this one, and the next 2 game nights for the Pittsburgh Penguins, as they have 2 games after this one. 3 are on the board now for the Devils. We will reveal all that to you in 2 minutes. Let's go with 3 minutes and 30 seconds. As Penguins postgame wraps up on the other side with the shake of the game, inspired by the Milkshake Factory ad segment. I should say Milkshake Factory ad, originally created by former Penguin, now Tampa Bay Lightning player Jake Gensel, and run by Bryan Rust. Speaking of Bryan Rust, before we take the break, he scored tonight, which means with the off day tomorrow and a game on Sunday, Penguins fans, head to the Milkshake Factory because Bryan Rust scored, and that means half off Rusty Shakes. If you've tried a Jake Shake and a Rusty Shake, let me know which one you prefer. I've never had any of them because I've never actually been in Pittsburgh. So let me know which one you prefer. I'd love to know. We will reveal our Shake of the Game recipient for Pittsburgh and New Jersey, and then our Game Puck of the Game recipient will follow. What's next for the Devils and what is coming up for the Penguins? Stay tuned. More Penguin Postgame in a moment.
What a busy traffic on this Friday evening. I am almost stuck in this traffic for the last 40 minutes. And there is no way, I think, for me to get to the show. The CNT Radio Song Bank, which is going to start very shortly. It's one of my favorite shows. And my, what a way to wind down for the weekend. Perfect 2 hours of fun-filled music. And she has so many great features. Sound of Music, Undercover, Foreign Exchange, Name That Tune, and the big wheel that she spins for Who's That or Where Are We? We cannot forget about the international stage. I have never come across such a great show in my life. I think I will have to press hard on my accelerator and go as fast as I can to get home in time. Wow! Wow! Look! I made it! I am almost there! CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Okay, let's try that again. Penguins beat the Devils 4-2 tonight at the Prudential Center. We were muted for the moment that we had that earlier. I apologize for that. Quick update here. This will actually be our last update of the show. We go to Calgary for this update as we await the third period to start in Edmonton between the Oilers and the Sharks. That game's still currently tied up at 2 goals apiece. And this just in as we check back into the Calgary game. The only 2 other games going on right now are Oilers and Sharks, as well as Flames and Wild. The Flames have built their lead to 3 with Igor Shangarovich and Nazem Kadri with the latest additions to the Calgary lead. For Kadri, it's his 32nd goal of the season. A power play goal for Kadri. For Igor Shangarovich, it's his 15th goal of the season. And Michael Backlund, who we mentioned earlier, had the game's only goal in the first period. These goals, as of late, have come in the second period of play. All right, action in the Oiler game, starting the third period now. Sharks are on the power play. So we will see how that one wraps up. Speaking of wrapping up, it's about time for us to wrap this one up. You've heard how our alternative player of the game segment came about, which was inspired by the Milkshake Factory ad, providing you the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are not sponsored by the Milkshake Factory, the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But hey, Penguins fans, Rust scored tonight. So head on down to the Milkshake Factory tomorrow to celebrate with half-off Rusty Shakes. This inspirement of the ad, originally created by Tampa Bay Lightning player when he was a Pittsburgh Penguin, Jake Guentzel. Sparked the fire that made this segment happen as our alternative player of the game. And whenever Bryan Rust scores like he did tonight, Penguins fans will receive half off Rusty shakes the next day at the Milkshake Factory. So go on out there on Saturday, go to the Milkshake Factory and say, Rusty sent me for half off a Rusty shake. With that being said, tonight's shake of the game for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I almost said Toronto, for the Pittsburgh Penguins, to correct myself there, that is going to go to Penguins goal scorer Valtteri Pustinen. Was a +1, got 1 point in this game. And we'll add in the game puck of the game momentarily on the Penguins side. But first, let's go over to the Devils side for the shake of the game. And as I said, momentarily, we will add in the game puck of the game. But I first want to set the scene for the final games this season between Pittsburgh and New Jersey in their opponents that they will face off against now that they are done playing each other. With that said, before we get into that, tonight the shake of the game belongs to the goaltender for the New Jersey Devils, Jake Allen. Finished the night with a save percentage of .909, playing 58 minutes and 6 seconds. He gave up 2 power play goals and 1 goal at even strength. That would be the own goal by the New Jersey Devils that I believe, and you could disagree with me, we can agree to disagree on this one, Penguins fans, but I believe that this goal was a gift to the Penguins. All in all, Jake Allen, despite giving up 3 goals, 2 on the power play and 1 at even strength, made 20 saves on 22 shots. The 23rd shot that he would have faced was an empty net goal. So he only faced 22 shots and made 20 saves. 3 of those shots went in. 1 went in accidental. The other went in. The other 2 went in off of Penguins hockey sticks. Speaking of the Penguins, we will come back to their next games in a moment. But before we go into the game puck of the game, I want to remind you about what is next for these 2 squads, and we even have it in my notes as well. But for both of these squads, that is it for the 2024-2025 regular season when it comes to matchups against one another. And starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Penguins are done on the road. They will return home for a 2-game homestand to close out their regular season with an afternoon matinee game, the last one of the season, at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Central, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, as they battle the Boston Bruins on Sunday, April 13th, 2025. That's this Sunday. And this coming Thursday, it's 87 versus 8. It's Crosby versus Ovechkin. It's the final Metro Showdown between the Penguins and the Capitals. The Capitals are in the postseason. The Bruins, who the Penguins will play first, are not in the postseason. So Washington will wrap up their season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game time is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And before we go any further, here's a look at the next matchups for the New Jersey Devils as we want to get back to what's next for Pittsburgh. But we also want to make sure we give the game puck of the game out, and we'll do that in just a few short minutes. First, 3 games on the slate for the Devils, including a back-to-back that starts on the road and ends at home. Speaking of ending at home, they will end a 3-game homestand that they'll look to end on a high note when the New York Islanders come into town on Sunday for an afternoon matinee of their very own. Coverage starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific. Then they are off to Boston for their final visit to Boston this season. Game time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. That is on Tuesday night, this Tuesday night, April 15th, 2025. And they will wrap things up on April 16th, the Wednesday, at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, as they welcome in the Detroit Red Wings to close out the season. All right, so the Islanders, the Bruins, and then the Red Wings. Before the Bruins battle the Devils, they will battle the Penguins. Now to the game puck of the game. Just a reminder, the goaltender of the Devils received the shake of the game. Despite the performance he put out on the ice tonight. And we honored that regardless of the loss. Speaking of giving honors, we will give our game puck of the game to 15 seconds into the game, Eric Holla. Eric Holla is going to get the game puck of the game for the New Jersey Devils tonight. His first shot on goal was a goal right past Tristan Jarry, but since then, after the second goal scored in net by Andre Palat. The Penguins took over in the second period and continued in the third period to win this game 4-2. And that is why on the opposite side of the ice, on the Penguin side of the ice, we gave the shake of the game to Sidney Crosby. Nope, sorry, we gave it to Valtteri Puustinen. And we're going to give the game puck to the goaltender himself. 2 goals given up, all at even strength. 59 minutes and 55 seconds played on the ice. A save percentage of .929. And 26 saves on 28 shots. Tristan Jarry is your game puck of the game for Pittsburgh. On the final edition of Penguins Postgame, which comes your way following the Capitals game, when we are able to get it out to you, most likely on the weekend if we're able to do that, we will be providing Penguin players who stood out for the season at the end of the program. I will give you a taste of what you can expect next season on Penguins Postgame. And we will provide you with, as always, the 3 stars of the game. And it's our last game puck of the game of the season with the shake of the game before that. It is also the last time we will do an NHL look around. On the Boston Bruins show, we will do a Bucks and Pucks segment in place of the game puck of the game before we set the scene for the Capitals game in Pittsburgh. And who else is playing Boston? And from there, we will basically recap both of the games on both of those shows. But Bucks and Pucks will be in place of the game puck of the game for the Boston Bruins game on the afternoon matinee. Well, ladies and gentlemen, another game bites the dust. We have one more game besides the Capitals and the Bruins to turn back the clock on. And that is our long overdue Season 4, Episode 10 episode of Sports for Beginners, detailing our recap of the Blues' 5-4 win over the Penguins at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. We will get that to you when we can. Today we turned back the clock before we came on for this show for the Ottawa Senators' 1-0 victory in overtime. You'll catch that show and the Blues show before you can catch this show. And then Boston and Washington will follow shortly after. Also a Blue Jays game recap update for the Battle of the Birds in Camden Yards. Tonight's opener with the Blue Jays was postponed due to rain and will be made up as part of a split doubleheader on July 29th, 2025. We will still do a Blue Jays game recap for that show. Instead of 3 games, however, it will be 2 games. But that all depends on if Game 2 goes on Saturday and Game 3, now known as Game 2, goes on Sunday. Game 2 is now Game 1 because Game 1 tonight was rained out at Camden Yards. Hope to see you then. As for Penguins postgame, 2 more current shows and 1 show to turn the clock back on. That's the Blues and the Penguins. You will get the Blues and the Penguins and the Senators and the Penguins before you get this show, and Boston and Washington will follow after it. One more check-in here. The Oilers have grabbed a 3-2 lead as we speak. Corey Perry scored on the power play. That's his 17th goal of the season. And so now in the third period, the Oilers lead 3-2 in the third period of that game. What will the final score of the Flames and Wild and, of course, Sharks and Oilers be? You'll know before this show hits the air, most likely. That is it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. Let's have ourselves a great rest of the season and finish strong. As the old 2-9er Phil Borg would say before every Penguins game, after 2 minutes with the old 2-9er, enjoy the hockey game, everybody. And as the great Mike Lang would say after every Penguins victory, we do it win or lose for Pittsburgh Penguins hockey. Once again, the Penguins beat the Devils 4-2 tonight. They were outshot 28-23. But as the great Mike Lang would say, after every Penguins victory, we do it win or lose, even though we honor Mr. Lang. Rest in peace, Mikey. You will not be forgotten, my friend. My name is Scott McGregor. This has been Penguins Postgame. And for everybody that I mentioned, just to wrap it up with Mikey's iconic line that we use, win or lose. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. Always remember, Penguins fans, let's go Pens. Let's finish this 2024-2025 season strong. We got the Bruins and the Pens next time on Penguins Postgame. And before that, and before this show, we've turned back the clock one more time to Blues and Pens. See you then.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.